Hello, everyone. You're gonna say
And
it?
we are live.
Yes. Welcome to Force Supply Entertainment. I'm Michelle with 2 L's.
And I'm Natalie the Red.
Yes, and this is the weekly Roundup. And this week we have some interesting topics. But before we get started, Natalie, how are you doing? Why don't you tweet this out? Why don't you talk for a second?
Okay, I'll take it. I'm doing lovely. I'm doing wonderful. Just making my way in this thing called life. How are you doing, chat? Let me know.
And yes, hello to I was able to tweet.
And thank you, TD.
Yes, hello to there's Marcos. Hello to everyone in the chat. We hope you have had a lovely Wednesday. I don't know about you, but where we are, it's been a pretty day. It's been pretty. It's been a little hot, but it's
been a pretty day.
But I will take a little bit of a hot day than a rainy day.
Yeah, Izzy and I we actually ate outside today.
Oh, did you?
It was a little hot, but it was nice.
Yeah, there. But yes, hello to everyone in the chat. Well, we have a pretty fun show, I believe, because the topics this week, they just kept coming. They just kept getting more and more interesting. I feel like there's some interesting stuff to discuss. And we are very lucky tonight. We are joined by Tom from Midnight's Edge. So I'll go ahead and bring Tom out tonight. Tom, how are you doing tonight?
Well, hello. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
I wonder how the chat is doing. I am doing the best I can, and I'm doing much better now that I'm hanging out with such charming ladies such as yourselves.
Well,
thank you
Same
so
here.
much. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you again for joining us, for coming on tonight, because I was telling everyone backstage, I found Midnight's Edge probably about a year ago, and I subscribed almost immediately because they do a fantastic job. I mean, some of you guys videos, and I now know, I guess maybe you do a lot of the editing, and Andre kind of does the voiceover on these particular videos. You guys do such a great job of like building a case. And that's the way my brain works. So I really love your videos that you put together about different topics. They're fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm glad that's what you get from it. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, we never want to just go out there and go, yep, this is what's going on. Deadline reports this. See you next week. No, Andre will not let us do that. So we got to, okay, what's the real deal here? Analyze it from several angles, talk to people we know, see what they say, put it up against some other stuff, go back a little bit sometimes, see what else has happened in the past. Sometimes you can connect some dots. We've seen this just happen this last week here. All of a sudden we learned today, Harrison Ford got hurt during rehearsals, but I thought they started filming already. So,
Okay.
There's a lot of things going on. And a lot of us were sitting there going, how does James Mangold have all this time to be on Twitter? Well, now we know why. Because his star was probably in the hospital for a day or so.
Man, Harrison Ford, I mean, he's just like, he did that with The Force Awakens. Remember, he like broke his leg, I think, or something like that.
I think he does it on purpose just to get the medicinal stuff, so like, my stuff's pretty good, but this stuff's better.
Now we really don't know why he was so apparently grouchy to those fans. He is probably like on some pain meds, so he should have been a little like happy. But apparently, even pain meds don't make Harrison happy.
I've heard he's been like that his whole life. So, like, I mean, that's one of those things where he has no qualms about telling any fan to just leave him the hell alone. So, like, I've heard that many times over.
Just like that, leave me.
I mean, I'm one of those. I don't particularly like to go up to celebrities when I've ran into them in general.
The fear of rejection is too great.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, I just like, if I see Usher at the grocery store, I don't want to like bother him,
Yeah.
You make me want to.
Don't let her lie to you. She goes like, she's like, yeah.
I was say, like, how many times a day do you think he hears that stuff? And he's just like, oh no, not again.
Make it stop.
What's funny is we're sitting here thinking that Usher would be just shopping at the grocery store. It's like he's got like 10 guys in his entourage who probably do it for him. But yeah.
Oh no, I've been actually twice ran into
really?
Usher on the.
Oh, you weren't kidding. I thought you were just kidding. Oh my goodness.
No, it's happened.
Oh wow, that actually makes me. You know what? I actually kind of respect him a little bit now.
Oh, well, this story gets better since we're in personal stories. So I ran into Usher twice when I lived in Atlanta, like, because of course he's in Atlanta, and just at the grocery store. And then I went on a trip to Los Angeles just for fun. So we climbed like the Griffin Park kind of climb that leads up to the observatory up on that mountain that's pretty famous that overlooks the city. So I'm climbing. We get to like this resting spot where you can see all of Los Angeles. And I'm standing there just admiring the beauty. And I hear a voice and I'm like, Usher?
You hear, yeah.
And it was Usher. And it was just like, are you freaking kidding me?
It's
like,
almost like Usher is a reoccurring guest star in your own sitcom of life.
I think that's what's going on.
He just plays himself. Just like he's your neighbor.
It really is, because I was just like, what are the odds? Literally, I would like to know the odds.
Because there's how many people in Atlanta alone, and then just the fact that he's generally probably busy doing other stuff too. I mean, he's not like he's not doing stuff still, I'm sure. I mean, he's Usher. I mean, I know who he is. You know who he is.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, I just ran into him. He was sitting on a park bench overlooking the city of Los Angeles. And I was like, oh, okay. Hello.
Oh, so you met him in Atlanta and Los Angeles.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So like the odds are even slimmer. Like you're talking like some C3PO type odds there, like 670,000 to 1 or whatever. Like it was.
I was like, Usher, don't ever tell me the odds.
Yeah. It's like, don't ever tell me the odds. But you make me wanna, Usher. You make me wanna.
Exactly.
The odds are I'm gonna see you again.
But then what was also actually continuing this short, it will end here. Another person I ran into actually happened to be Usher's ex-girlfriend, being Chili from TLC.
I'm seeing a pattern here. Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, I'm not his stalker, guys. He's my stalker.
Yeah, I'm like, something's not right about this.
That's my story.
There's a love triangle going on.
You're the one he wants. You don't know about it. And now she's PO'd. And she's coming for you.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if I ever run into Usher again in my life.
You'll be like, all right, this ain't no coincidence now.
Yeah. Like we are divinely meant to run into each other.
Just
so
like I'm calling my lawyer.
yeah. It's either that or he's straight up stalking me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to call and get a restraining
Guys,
order.
what you didn't know is the show Us on Netflix is really about Usher and his attempts to stalk me.
It's a whole saga, you know. We can't even get into it legally.
Well, if he comes out with a song about the Michelle with 2 L's, then we know what's up.
Be looking for it, guys. It's coming.
I go through heaven and hell for the Michelle with 2 L's.
I like it. I like it.
Got a nice little ring to it.
Gosh, yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't sung. Oh, if I got $1 every time in my life that someone has met me and started singing the Beatles song.
Michelle.
Yes, that one. I'm
and
like, yeah,
you know, what's funny about that is that Michelle is probably one of the names that has several songs with that name in it, but yet everybody goes straight to that Beatles one. I mean, there's
Every
Guns
time.
N' Roses song. I think, isn't there like an Allman Brothers song too, or something like that?
I think there is.
So
Yeah.
I might be thinking of Melissa too, but regardless, like I know that it's more usage than some of the other ones. So yeah, that's pretty odd that everybody picks that one.
Oh, they go for that Beatles one every time.
Because it's so easy. Michelle, yeah.
Yeah, my bell. Yeah. You guys don't want me to sing. I'll stop.
I don't
now.
want to get you a copyright claim. Not that I'm not good at singing, but I know, Apple's probably pretty. Apple
If they
Records.
copyrighted my rendition, that would be really sad.
You'd be surprised. I did a version of Comfortably Numb. I didn't think it was good enough to play to my dog, and they still claimed it. So I was like, all right.
Gosh, yeah, they're really touchy with music, especially, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, remind me, is Comfortably Numb, is that Pink Floyd or Led
Yes.
Zeppelin?
No,
It's
that was Pink Floyd. You're right. Yep.
Okay, I was just checking. I think that was the one. Okay, no, it's the one that's like, you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue sky. I don't know. I'm trying to not
Nope.
sing it.
That's Comfortably Numb, or that's not Comfortably Numb, but that's Wish You Were Here. But yeah,
Okay, Wish You Were Here.
You're close.
So my brother's like
semi-close, yeah.
strumming on his guitar, our brother, and he's singing that when I'm like in high school, or maybe I was junior high, because obviously I was a little gullible. And he's like, oh, you like this one, Natalie? I wrote it, you know. And then I heard it on the radio, like when I was a couple years older, and I'm like, he did not write that.
Years later,
He
it was
got
like,
me.
boom.
That's
What
awesome.
are they doing singing Michael's song?
Don't you love that when older siblings or cousins get you to believe something that's total bullshit, and then
no.
like years later, like you're like, son of a bitch.
Listen,
Sorry.
I still have like my 6-year-old, our youngest nephew. I told him years ago that I had a real lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I told him that it's in a secret vault in a bank, and that's why he doesn't ever see it. And like he's still like, he actually called me one day and was like, I need you to go get your lightsaber. And I just keep it going, and I'm just going to keep writing this until
Just see, it's kind of like Santa Claus at this point.
Drunk busted me. Drunk 3PO busted me.
What did he do?
let me get to drunk first. David
David.
with the $24.99 super chat. Woohoo! Here's to the lovely ladies from Forcify Entertainment. And David,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
my niece found a David, but I didn't feel like it was special enough, so I told her to keep searching for the right
we
clip.
could only have the best
For
pitch
David,
and
yes.
everything of David.
Yes, for
So,
David.
It's coming.
It is coming. And what is drunk saying? Let's see. Tom said a bad word on a Clay channel.
It happens. It happens.
It does happen. And hello to Jay. But yeah, we can go ahead.
Hold on, can I just say one thing? Because his name is Tom.
Oh gosh, yes. I know where this is going. This is another personal story before we get started.
It's not really a story so much as it's just a weird fact about our family. Like it started, I guess, with an affair like a couple generations ago. Like there was this rather large woman that was like having an affair with like great-great-grandfather or something. So the great-great-grandmother's like, you're out with that big Tom again. And so she'd call this woman a big Tom. Why am I telling this?
I don't know. Just
But
get to the punchline.
Weird.
Now, basically, my dad calls everyone Big Tom.
Like everybody in our family were like, "Hey, Big Tom, what are you?"
So, like, if people met the Smith family, they're like, "Man,
They're all
everyone
named
is Tom."
Tom.
very
That's
weird. I mean, we also
kind of like
call
the
it
Foremans,
Jeffrey, so.
like George 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and whatever.
We've got like, well, and then there's like we'll play off of it. Like sometimes it's like Thomas Aquinas. We just keep going with it at this point.
Thomas Augustus. I mean,
Thomasita.
Thomasita. I mean, it can go anyway. Okay, we'll stop.
Yeah, we'll stop.
Possibilities are endless.
Let's say I only call Tom Big Tom in private.
You know it, Jay.
I like it.
There's a reason why I keep calling him the sexiest man on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
You know,
that's the
firsthand.
secret. He's out there playing it up. He acts like he's with Gina, but it's really all about him and I.
It's really
I believe
it's
it.
really it's not Gina. It's Big Tom.
It's Big
right.
Tom that has his heart.
No, I love Jay. Thanks for showing up. That's awesome, dude.
And let's see. I wanted to go ahead and get started with some of the news we got coming out this week, because there's a big story right now in the world of Disney, and I want us to look at that. And Tom, I'm sure you've seen this story.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna let you go.
I was gonna say I've actually seen it, but I have not had a chance to cover it. The two shows that I was gonna cover it on, we never got to it yet. So I kind of know it. So this will actually be the first time anybody's heard any of my takes on this. So all my reactions are going to be genuine, just so you know.
You guys heard it here first. You get Big Tom's takes right here.
Big Tom's about to land
Hey,
down.
now we've got Big Tom and we've got Lil Yeti. Whenever
I mean, I like it.
I like it. I can dig that. Oh, there's Yeti right there.
it is Yeti.
Hey, Yeti.
It's Lil Yeti.
She loves saying that entirely too.
I really do. It's a good name. It really
It
is.
rolls off the tongue and it sounds like a rapper.
It
So
does.
it just works.
Exactly. Lil Yeti. It's a great name.
Big
so-
Tom knows what's up.
Yeah, exactly. Tom knows what's up. So of course, Variety was the first one to publish this. So West Side Story star Rachel Ziegler, I believe you say her name, to lead Disney's Snow White remake. So of course, Disney continuing the lack of creativity and just making money off of movies that we've already seen.
Wow.
And, yeah, so they cast this. I guess she was just into the Heights.
Yep.
She obviously is a Latin actress. Apparently has an incredible voice, which is interesting because there's not tons of singing in Snow White, is there? There's a few songs.
I don't know. I'm a little rusty. It's been
Well,
a while.
Like,
I just-
while you work, there's
Yes.
That's true.
the Hi Ho song.
Yeah.
There's a couple. There's maybe a handful. I don't think it's nearly as packed to the brim as some of the later Disney films, but
Got you, because it's kind of like, movies like Beauty and the Beast where we could have used some really good vocals. We got good old Emma Watson. But in this one, they're going with a good singer, but the kicker here, guys, again, of course, this is now the second time they've race bent a character. And to me, this one is the most interesting race bent yet, because the character is literally named Snow White because of her name, because she, as the story, as the fable tells us, she has skin as white as snow.
Yeah.
And of course, in the story, I believe she is in
yeah.
Germany.
Yeah, I'm sure I can't be the first one to point out again, this Rachel Ziegler, however you say it, a very beautiful actress, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But I can't be the first one to point out that they're taking the most lily white character of all time and
I just want to say, guys, everyone watching, that Natalie and I's dreams of being Disney princesses is officially over, because Natalie was meant to play Ariel and I was meant to play Snow White here. And because both of us have been called Casper multiple times growing up in our lives.
Explained. I'll stop explaining. I self-tan in the summer, and these lights make me look like 4 shades darker. So I promise, I'm like uncooked chicken. Okay?
I mean, basically my skin color, if they're ever doing a vampire like movie again, they can just put me in there and they don't need special effects.
I remember when the vampire thing got really big, and I was actually secretly thinking maybe this will make pale skin attractive to people again, and I'll stop self-tanning instead of being Natalie the friendly ghost. But here we are.
But yeah, so now they have cast Snow White as a Latin actress. And I mean, here's the thing. Race bending some characters really it's just not a big deal.
no,
sometimes.
not all the time. Yeah,
It's not. But when the character is literally Snow White,
yeah.
you kind of got to find not even just a white person. You need to find someone like as pale as me. Like, you need someone that is pale. Well, just
because it's not about race. It's just like that's that's literally the description. It's a very famous description.
Yeah, her skin was fair, white as snow.
Yeah,
So
and
called her
mirror,
Snow
mirror
White.
on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Well, and I know they could say fair can also equate to being pretty, which I know I've heard people find that problematic.
And the kiss is problematic at the end, remember?
Right. That's problematic.
So let's just know, we got to watch when this comes out. If you watch it, I'm probably not going to see it in theaters. I'm just being real. But like, will she get a consent form for Prince Charming, or will she just like kiss herself somehow and wake up?
That's a
I don't
good
know.
question. I wonder how they will handle that. That is a very good question.
Yeah, because they've
Michelle can be Ray at Disney. She's
oh,
a Disney.
thank
Maybe
you.
it'll be just a boop on the nose.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so it'll be really, and here's the real kicker on this one, especially besides the fact they cast a Latin actress to play Snow White, is, and here's another thing, guys. If this was even in modern day Germany, that would be even another, that would be a little different. But if it's set like in the 1500s when this was originally created or like supposed to be, it's definitely going to be a white person in Germany in the 1500s. I mean, it is. So if you're, I mean, are they going to change locations? Because something that does drive me nuts is if you make things that aren't historically correct. Like I know the BBC just did a timepiece, a historical timepiece of, I believe is like one of King Henry's wives, who of course was white, and they cast a black actress.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and it's I don't know. I mean, I try not to, it's like, I guess it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Like,
well, but I feel like there isn't there's a motive there to a degree.
well, yeah,
I mean,
I understand that.
and there, here's again, that's what we said before, and Tom agreed. Sometimes it's not a big deal at all to race bend characters. It doesn't matter. But like when you're doing a historical piece, you need to be accurate to that history. Is just
But it
kind
could
of
be
our
argued
take.
this is fiction.
This is fiction, but that's why I'm saying then they can't be 1500 Germany.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
there weren't
Well,
many
unless
Latin people.
in that fictional 1500s Germany, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Well, and there's
I-
another side of this too. I think we could look at is it's not the first time we've seen a revisioning version of Snow White. So even if they update it somehow or do it, it's not really doing anything new to it. So why aren't they gravitating towards what makes their version special and just emulate that part of it? And again, I here's another movie nobody asked for.
It's true.
It is definitely true.
Well, we just had the Snow White with
That's
Lily
what I was-
Collins
that's
like
what I
a
was
few
gonna-
years ago.
It came out in either 2011 or 12.
I think we've had at least a dozen or half a dozen different snow, if you count like Snow White and the Huntsman and all these other ones in the last few years between TV movies and other variations. Even on like television, didn't Disney do like the what's it called? Where they had all the princesses and all that stuff is like kind of like superhero-ish, and it was almost like the Avengers where they had them all coming together. I'm trying to think of the name of the show now.
What was it? I know
I'm
what
drawing
you're
a
talking
blank.
about.
I know.
Oh gosh, someone in the chat's gonna have to let us know that one.
Yeah,
First, I want to
Snow White
say,
was pretty prominent in that too, but yeah.
got you.
Oh
And-
gosh, what was it called?
It's killing me. It's someone in the chat. You guys let us know if you know what we're talking about.
But yeah,
But-
there's been lots of them.
There has been like tons. Someone actually did a collage of all the different Snow Whites. So as you say, it's like it's fine to do a different take. This is a very odd choice. And I think here's the thing too. I think people wouldn't think so much. I mean, with Snow White, people are probably going to think anything of it regardless because it's descriptive of her skin color. But in some of the other, I think another thing that kind of grabs people's attention today is because it's been done so many times at this point. Like it's
Right.
happening like all the time.
Yeah.
So that's where it's kind of grabbing people. It's like another one just got race bent. Like it's
Yeah.
just like everybody.
Kind of changing iconic characters.
Yes. Yeah. And which is interesting too, Tom. It's like
Well, okay. I mean,
what?
I'm just gonna go there. I mean, let's just get to the heart of the issue. It's kind of like they're making it. It's like it's bad to be white. You know?
Basically. And here's the thing. How much do you guys want to bet that the villain's still going to be white? I mean,
And that's fine.
I'm just being real, but it's it kind of goes with this narrative Hollywood and like the real far left is pushing of white
Yeah.
bad. That's just the
Right.
bottom line.
White man bad.
White man bad. I mean, it's kind of, and apparently now white women bad. I mean, it just
Right.
kind of goes, it is what it is, but
Well, and this is a very problematic story. You've got a girl who gets booted out of her house by her dad's new wife,
yeah.
and then she goes and lives with 7 men whom turn her into a domestic servant, even though she does it out of, But I'll just look at it from the Disney's perspective here. There's 7 of them, but yet she's the only one cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. But anyway, so then, yeah, and then you move on to that. And then the only thing she needs in her life to save it and make it all better is a man.
Oh,
That's true.
And
That's true.
we know they're gonna totally redo the story.
Right.
Like it's this story, like where they typically like Beauty and the Beast follow it pretty, or definitely the Lion King follow it beat for beat. This one's going to get a total rework, I feel like.
Probably.
Because as you said, that story's just way too problematic for Disney these days.
Yeah, I'm sure by the
becomes
end it's going to be an independent. She's going to be a strong, independent woman who doesn't need Prince Charming to do anything for her, and I'm sure she's going to be telling all the dwarves what they're doing wrong and how they need to do better. And
do better.
Do better.
Do better. And yeah, well, of course, the dwarves are probably going to be a very diverse group of dwarves as well. So who knows?
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I want to say quick, thank you, Mr. Buttcrack Media, for the 149 super sticker. But yeah, it's just kind of it's an interesting story. So we'll see. But of course, Twitter's going to Twitter. So people they dug stuff up as they like to do. And so we find out that like a typical leftist, far leftist, that she's been on the cancel train when they went through her tweets. And I lost where I sent it. I sent it so I could find it to my for the stream, but I lost it. They had her a screenshot after Gina Carano was fired. She wrote good. And that was kind of like, I'm definitely not watching this movie. Like, no, you're not going to crap on Gina Carano for getting fired for being not left.
Right.
So whatever Gina calls herself.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's what we got.
Let's see. It says all conservatives are, how do we say this?
Is
white supremes.
White supremes.
Yes. And it's just it's that thinking right there in a line that's problematic, as they say.
It is problematic. And it's kind of that when you have like kind of this mindset, tweets like this kind of bother people that she deleted a couple hours after tweeting after the news came out. Yes, I'm Snow White. No, I'm not going to bleach my skin for the role.
No, I don't think anybody asked you to.
I don't. Yeah, no one thought you were going to, because if they wanted you to bleach your skin, they just would have got a lily white person. Right. That's what they would have done. So yeah. So Tom, what do you think about all this?
Considering she wouldn't have done this, I'd have been just like, whatever. We'll wait and see what they do with it. But something like this is just antagonizing. It is more similar behavior we see out of people from Disney. And again, I don't want to pounce on this actress, but you're just coming off a situation with the Heights.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. It is.
This is not the best look.
Yeah, totally. 100%. I agree with that. Yeah. Well said. That is.
So you're literally coming off a movie where people were complaining that people were not dark-skinned enough. You're out here joking about bleaching your skin.
Yeah, that is a solid point.
Just
it's the world we live in.
Clown world, folks. Yeah.
It is, and it makes you. I don't know if you saw it recently. In fact, I don't even. Well, it's a different channel that just recently did. It's not like I watch them all the time, but occasionally clips on YouTube. That's why I don't see him as much anymore. But Rogan, he was doing an interview with someone. And he was talking about kind of how everyone in Hollywood is so left. And he said, think about this, guys. He said, is there any other profession? He said that everybody is on the far left.
It's bizarre.
And
it's not.
Well, and he was saying how it's kind of, stuff like this. He said a lot of these people, they don't even mean it. He said they just, they throw it out there because it helps them get roles.
It's just like instant acceptance or like.
Yes. It's just trying to get like approval from
the higher ups.
Yeah. Like, and it worked. Like all this crap, saying good about Gina. I mean, it's all helped lead her to get multiple roles that are coming. Not that she's not talented. I'm not saying that. It's just they're playing the game. It's kind of their own political game, I guess. But yeah.
Sadly it is. You play stupid games, you win stupid awards. That's all I'm going to say. Sooner or later, a lot of this is going to bite a lot of people in the butt.
Exactly.
I mean, we already saw what happened to John Cena and a few other people, and that's just themselves putting themselves under a bus.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, definitely. And it's funny too. I mean, people, that's why you're not going to find like me tweeting at people like to get canceled. In fact, we sell a t-shirt that says, go cancel yourself. I mean, we're very anti-cancel culture, Because the bottom line is when you run your mouth about people, people do like what this guy did and they collect your tweets, and it will, as you said, it will come back and bite you in the butt at some point, because down the road, what was acceptable with this crowd today won't be acceptable in 6 months from now.
Yeah.
It's not even a long period before it's not okay with this group.
Right.
Oh, it can happen within minutes.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's like reeds of it with the wind of what's acceptable or not acceptable these days.
Yeah, and if I start giving examples, we'd probably get shut down. So
Exactly.
But yeah, just like what was far left a year ago is now it's behind the times, you know? That was
Well, I think that's the running joke. Like if you're not farther left than Bernie now, or something like that. I don't know. You guys probably know what I'm trying to say, but
it is a contest of woke. You're right.
It is. And just kind of this, again, identity politics and all this stuff that they go with. But yeah, so that's what they've done, guys. They have. So that's that. So you guys can decide what you want to do with Snow White as it gets closer to time. But I wanted to see too. Did you see kind of all the stuff with Star Wars, the Acolyte with what's her name, Leslie Headland? Is that her name?
Oh, you mean Harvey Weinstein's former assistant? Yeah.
Yeah, her. Yeah, that one. That loves to talk about like women and female empowerment, even though she was Harvey Weinstein's former assistant. So I guess
and the plot thickens.
I feel
Well,
like
you only got to do is listen to like 5 minutes of this lady talk, and you can tell she's fake as heck.
That's pretty accurate. That is pretty accurate. And if you guys want to check out some of her interviews, they're all over. You can find them all over. But she must be really good at looking the other way, is all I got to say.
Yeah, some people are, sadly.
They are. Yeah. There's quite a few of them in Hollywood, it seems.
A little hypocritical.
But yeah, people have been addressing her because she, of course, she's the writer or the creator of this new. We'll see if it actually comes out. You know, the sad thing with Star Wars is when Kathleen Kennedy announces a new project, you're like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Because it's just very little she says actually seems to come to pass, it feels like.
Well, not just that. There's a clear separation between things that were Favreau based.
Yeah.
That came from other places, like this Leslie Headland thing. And this is more pandering, more of the same nonsense we've seen from so many other places. And I saw, I didn't like get in depth in this interview, but I saw, the highlights that Data Racer posted and stuff. So I'm sure you're going to bring them up here, some variation thereof. But yeah, I mean, her first initial, like when she was first talking about being on board, she's like, I want to tell a story from a black perspective. So I want to get a black writer and I want a black director and all this other stuff. And she was going, I'm like, okay, that's great. But I don't hear you talking a whole lot about Star Wars.
Well, and that what got everyone's attention too in this one, I actually don't have it to pull up. I was running late today.
Oh, I can maybe get the link for you here if you want it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. But what she got kind of going with everyone, or what kind of got everyone's attention, Star Wars Theory, all these channels, is I guess the writing team, like they admitted like they've never seen Star Wars. Like she was like talking about this like it was a good thing. Like she texted me and she was like, Luke and Leia are brother and sister. And it's just like, so that's
who would have thought it?
Yeah, so that's kind of what got everyone like extra nervous, even for the people that are maybe reserving judgment for what she will do. And it's just that, like, why get a writing team? Not that everyone has to be the massive Star Wars fan, but I feel like the writers need to have a good understanding of the mythology and what Star Wars is all about to be able to create good Star Wars.
Right.
And I think hearing that story might have just told us why some of Disney's projects haven't been that great. Like maybe there's a lot of writers who don't know anything about Star Wars.
Oh, imagine that. That's something that we've been saying for a long time, not just in Star Wars, but Star Trek and everywhere else. Because, yeah, a fan brings baggage with them to the door. When a fan knows something, then that hinders the creativity of those who aren't bogged down by all this nasty canon and expanded universes and all these books and homework. I joke about not wanting to do homework, but that's by choice. I'm like, if there's a book out there already, somebody did the footwork, use it. Do that.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
there's already a fan base established for it. Why are they doing what they did? That was the biggest mistake that they did from the start, and created this massive, and that was the first pushback I saw for the Star Wars thing. And I was not really a part of that wave because I didn't have really an investment in the EU, but there was a lot of people when they said, yeah, the EU is no longer a thing. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to pick and choose. We're going to do our own versions. That's when I saw a big turn in the tide of the core. I mean, the hardcore fan base. We're talking about that center that has held Star Wars together for over 30 years at that point. Because, you know, people forget there are dark times in Star Wars history. I know to a lot of the younger kids nowadays, it's so easy for them to go, oh yeah, Star Wars has always been there. Yeah, it was always there in quotations, but there was a dark period where we had to wait 3 years just to see Return of the Jedi on video. Like, people remember, like, Return of the Jedi didn't come out on home video until 1986.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a time where we had to wait for these things, and there was a dark period, and there was a time when Star Wars went out of style. Like in that late 80s, early 90s, it wasn't until the novels came around that there was this little resurgence, and then they started seeing like some video games and then some other things come in to play, and then it kind of built up this momentum to the special editions in 97, and that's really when Star Wars like came back and never left. It felt like from that moment on, it was like, nope, this is a thing, and it's gonna be a thing forever. But yeah, there was a time where it was not cool to be into Star Wars for a while, and it kind of you kind of get the same way a lot of Trek people got treated for a long time too. It's like, oh, look at that geek, you know, you're into the Star Wars, you know, Darth Vader, vroom, 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 you know, stuff like that. You get all
Fortunately, I like by the time I was growing up, like it was acceptable to like Star Wars. Not that like it is now, but it was already and I mean, I just didn't care. But yeah, it wasn't like I think the 80s was.
Yeah.
Or the early 90s or just through the 90s pretty much.
Probably through the 90s.
Yeah. But it is worrisome. And again, what you were saying about what she was saying as far as finding all these different diverse directors and writers, all that is good and fine if you do it like organically, like you truly believe that is the best person for the job.
Yeah.
And what's really kind of sad in this is, as a female, I take what I can get, but it's like, I don't just want something because you were trying to meet a quota.
Like the vice president.
And I'm your token female. Like, I would rather know that you genuinely think I'm the woman I'm the best person for the job, man or woman or whatever race or whatever. So it's just, when you begin to like, oh, it's got to be this. It has to be a Black woman in this situation, and Latino here, and a Black man there, and a white woman here.
You really narrow down like your available options. Like you said, it should just be, you know,
who's best.
Yeah, it's just that simple.
Yeah,
not trying to meet a quota.
Yeah, I mean,
no, exactly. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to agree with you. Like, yeah, I mean, you could there's even ways you could go about this and manipulate it to where it's not so bad, to where you could like be like, yeah, we want a person who write this who happens to be Latino, but okay, then go find somebody who happens to be Latino that's a huge Star Wars fan first and foremost. If that's really the way you want to do this, fine. If you want to cast your production team like you do a cast in quotations, I don't know about that. I mean, because there's a little difference in nuance there, to where in casting it's a little different, but when it comes to the race or the gender of most characters and times, unless it's something that's very proprietary to the plot itself or that character's characterization, generally it's not such a big deal, especially when it comes to sci-fi and all those things. I've even made the argument that you could make Superman a Black guy, and it doesn't really matter. We know that Clark Kent was adopted, so you could even have his parents be, you know, the classic white, you know, family, and he raised with all the same values, and he still just happens to be Black. But what I have a problem with, if you're going to turn around and give him now a Black set of adopted parents, give him all these stereotypes, and that's kind of what they did to Miles Morales. And I know he's kind of a beloved character by some, but I look at that and I just say, hey, it's Peter Parker with a bunch of stereotypes added to it. It is. It really, in my eyes anyway. I could be wrong in some respects, but then I saw Into the Spider-Verse and they made it even worse. It was like they doubled down on the stereotypes, and I'm just like, wow. Um, and that's the thing that bothers me. And it'd be the same thing like with Batman. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as he's, a rich guy who has a Batmobile and the, the suit and all that kind of stuff and the gadgets, and he's got an Alfred. That's all that matters. But when you start to change them to, because he's black, he's got to have this now, or because he's Latino, he's got to have that now, or whatever, that's when I start to have a problem. Like a great example is when they made Perry White, they casted Morpheus, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence, yeah.
Nobody batted an eye. Nobody cared. Why?
Yeah,
it didn't matter. He had the gravitas. That's what mattered. And you didn't have him going out there going, I'm Perry White, the best black reporter. And, you didn't have any of that crap in there. Not once did he even mention his race.
Exactly. Right. Just like when they cast, I forget his name. He was in Hunger Games, and I think that was for Batman, for Commissioner Gordon. Like, I was like, he'll do a good job.
Yeah. I can't think of his name either now.
Like, I could, as soon as he was
I know
cast,
who you're talking about.
I see that. Like, I see him playing that role just fine. And I would say he's not gonna. He'll play it. Yeah, I think he'll play it. I think he'll play it good. So, but yeah, it does. That's an interesting point what you're saying, because they do kind of then give them. Which is funny because they would claim like they're anti-stereotypes, but then they do give them kind of stereotypes.
Right.
It is that is kind of an interesting point. And I will say hello to our buddy Demanjanai, aka Demunji. Welcome to Demunji. See, Tom, we have a nickname.
You said that like Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of get to the chopper.
Is he gonna be in the next one now?
I mean, Jumanji, what's with all these animals? Yeah. Get down, you monkeys. Put the cookie down.
That'd be pretty funny.
Oh my God, there's an elephant in my bathroom.
We demand Arnold in Jumanji.
We do. It'd make it so much better.
It would. It definitely would. And Natalie, I'll let you read good old David. David!
Thank you, David. Come on. Kamala smelled the best. That must have been how the contest went, is the word on the street, who had the best perfume.
And I'll let you read this one. Thank you so much.
I can understand hiring an outsider for a different point of view, but that would have to be the quietest voice.
Yeah. Well, and again, and I think that's
thank you for the super chat.
Thank you so much. I think that's exactly what Tom's saying and what we're trying to say. It's just how's it done? Where with a person like Leslie Headland, who, let me just be real, it feels like she, like you said, is just full of BS. She was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, and it's almost, this is her way of atoning for her sins in Hollywood. Like, I'm going to cast like this list of diversity. And it doesn't matter who's actually the best for the job. It's just, let's meet a quota, which is interesting, Tom, because I heard you guys, and I didn't get to watch all of it. No. I watched you guys did a video about Amazon and their new diversity quotas that they just put out. And it's just, it's all pretty odd.
Yeah. It really does. It's almost like how they do that. How are so many people oblivious to seeing what's wrong here and why this is not a good thing, and how it's going to hinder more people that are talented, no matter what their race, sex, any of that is, religion, when you have these arbitrary rules that kind of dictate who you can and cannot hire by the amount of people you already have hired or what have you. Like we brought up, there's 101 things now that could be brought into question of, are you going to be able to do that anymore? Like, there's so many movies that even when the Oscars brought in, and I remember when this happened, and this was cripes, almost a year ago now, or almost a half a year at least. It was before the Oscars aired, but they brought in this thing that they're these new rules that are just like these rules that are just like, and I told everybody, like, just watch, everybody's going to start adopting this. And like, oh, nobody cares about the Oscars. I'm like, we don't care, but they do. And not only do they care, rhetoric is coming from inside out. This is a totally different, this is not a trend. This is a manufactured thing. This was something we always say too, to remind people, like, most trends come from the outside in. No, this is coming from the inside out. this isn't Hollywood picking up on something that, you know, they're just late to the game on or what have you. This is something they're creating for some reason and the only thing we can get out of them is the underwear gnome plan. And it's basically, if they get rid of all the so-called racist white guys out of every franchise, everybody else is going to flock to them because it's safe now. That's the mentality they have. So it's like, where do you see that as any kind of way of building a business off a franchise that, look, you're first of all killing your main fan base. Second of all, neglecting the fact that there were already non-white boys that were fans of these things, or they wouldn't be this big, because we're not that powerful.
Yeah.
And you ask any married man, we have no power. It's just, it's taken away from us. And now it's happening to every man. At least before, as a single guy, I could go, yeah, well, at least I ain't got nobody to answer to. That ain't true anymore. There's a million Karens and everything else waiting around the corner for me to have to answer to.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of that, did you see the Karen trailer?
I've heard about this. I have not. This is the one we were going to talk about it last night, and we did not get to it. Our show just when we get going and we get on these rants and just things happen, but it just didn't happen to come up. But I try to save my reactions for those things for when we actually see them.
Oh my gosh. It's like 2 minutes of total cringe.
It's a movie about Karen.
It's called,
I've heard, yeah.
It's called Karen. I'll show it to you after. It's guys, go look it up if you've not seen it, but it was burning Twitter up yesterday, which it was actually funny because the day started with the Karen trailer and it ended with the Aladdin Snow White. And because Karen basically is just a massive ist in the movie, and she's like determined to get the black couple out of the neighborhood. Like that's the whole movie.
Oh my gosh.
So I think Karen's going to turn into like a murderer, like, you know, because she can't have them in her neighborhood because
because
reasons.
Because she's white.
Because she's white and she's a Karen. It's
I gotta check this out.
Oh, you have to. You can't unsee it once you see it.
Well, yeah, it sounds like it.
And thank you, Damaj and I, for the $5 super chat. The swaps are a meme at this point. However, of this was done like how the Wizard was the version of the Wizard of Oz, I think it would be fine, not this. And
interesting take.
Yeah, and what
Damaj and I.
Exactly, and that's what Tom was making so many good points on, of how there's so many like easy ways to do this that doesn't cause a big stir. It just feels like Hollywood doesn't do that anymore. They do it as, again, to have meet quotas, to change it for the heck of it. And then we've got a Karen movie that looks like it was a Jordan Peele movie, because in all of Jordan Peele's movies, white people are the villains.
Is it supposed to be a horror film?
Yeah, but I think so.
Like she comes out with her Karen.
There's so many scenarios that they're not even thinking of. And I mean, it's not even about, you know, and you know, it's not even always so much about like, oh, the best, you know, you're neglecting fans from getting into doing this, or getting a certain director into doing this, or some guy's not going to get a chance to direct something that he should have just because, you know, they're having some other woman do it instead. It's more like there could be situations where things could go very bad and wrong.
Yeah.
Just in the last couple of years, there's been 2 incidences with stunt people and stuff where things go wrong. And if you're stuck in a situation where you don't get the right stunt team because, you've hit all your certain other quotas, but you need to fill another quota in a certain way. And I don't want to get specific, because then somebody will say, I'm trying to say, oh, are you saying that so-and-so is not as good just because of their race? No, I'm just saying, like, okay, let me put it this way. Let's say you've done all your diversity hiring everyone else, and you're stuck with this team that just happens to be led by a white guy, because that's all the room you have left now for. And he sucks. But this other black guy would be great at it, but the rest of your team, no, that would never happen though, because they would just double down on the black guy. But no, my point is you have a situation where they may not be qualified for this. That's what happened in Deadpool 2, and I'm not saying that this is the reason why, but there's certain truth to it, because the lady that doubled for now I just forgot her name, but the Domino in Deadpool 2. Okay. They had a lady who died in a motorcycle accident doing a stunt. And first of all, I say there's no excuse for that in the day and age of computers. Second of all, the reason it happened, and from my investigation, had to do with a lot of neglect and things that were rushed and not prepared properly. And if you have situations like that already on a movie where things are, slapdash, bubblegum and tape and popsicle sticks already, and you're trying to get these things going, when you're talking about stunts, you cannot mess around. And,
Right.
if you got somebody who's not qualified, who has not been doing enough, like if you're doing a water stunt specifically, like if you get some guy who's, he's a stunt guy, but he's not done as many water stunts as this other guy has, you go with this guy just because of his race, or if it's a woman, let's say, here I'm saying guys, but here we go. Well, let's just say you go with this woman because of her, but with this other person over here, they've had a lot more experience. You could have a lot of problems. And I see things like that. Just it's going to go beyond just the artistic side of things. It's going to cost somebody their life, maybe worse in certain cases. Like they could be paralyzed, like the lady that was on the Batwoman set, where accidents happen there too. And that set was that way because of how things were being cut across the board there too. And I don't know how experienced a lot of those people are.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. Yeah, I mean, it really is. And it's something I hadn't actually thought of even as far as that.
Yeah.
But again, like, guys, there's so much room in movies for diversity. There really is, like legit diverse, because especially if it's
it kind of
Hollywood.
already was.
Yes. That's exactly. Yeah. And, but this forced diversity where they literally now have quotas, it's just, or like, again, we actually started this with Leslie Headland of this is what I look for specifically. And it's not like a talented person. This person knows Star Wars like in the back of their hand. This person's an excellent writer or editor. No, it's this person's white. This person's black. This person's Latino. This person's in the
trans community.
Yeah, trans community. It's just like, that's not the way you put together the best team.
Right. And just to clarify something, I'm not trying to say it's worse to be paralyzed than die, but the lady that was paralyzed had nothing to do with stunts. She was just standing on the set. So that's why I said her worse, because you could just be a bystander and something happened. Like this big, like this, like what happened is they had like a cherry picker or I can't remember. They had something that was like hanging from a scaffolding or something, and it fell right on her head straight down. So she was paralyzed from the neck down. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was horrible. Like, and she was just standing there. She was like a script girl. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's really sad.
Yeah. They really, that's terrible.
Yeah. And if you're not paying attention, if you ain't got the right kind of people, these things can happen. And when you're worried more about hiring in other ways, that these things will happen.
Yeah. It's an interesting day. It really is that we live in. So
we went on about this a while. Sorry.
No. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
It is. It's all interesting. So we'll see. I don't really have any faith in Leslie Headland's Star Wars show. I would actually be genuinely shocked if it's good.
And I mean, this is the first time hearing about the whole having people in there who have never seen Star Wars. I mean, not to quote, was it Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother? It's like, how have you not seen the Star Wars? The only people who haven't seen the Star Wars are the people that are in the Star Wars, because they are the Star Wars.
That's like, great. I love that.
It's like, how have you not? I mean, and not only have you, if you've not seen it, how have you not soaked up the culture? Like, it's everywhere. Like, I mean, how do you not live in the world knowing that Darth Vader's Luke's father and Luke and Leia are his brother? So these are things that are just kind of ingrained, like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Everybody knows, it's just, or even Batman's origin. You don't need to tell it over and over again. Kids know.
Well, especially, how are you like a Hollywood writer and have never seen Star Wars?
Exactly.
That's a whole next level. Like, that's just film that you see. You see the original trilogy. Everyone sees it, especially if you work in Hollywood. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, and even if you're not a fan, there's precedent to be like, okay, you may not be a fan of something, but like we always bring up Nicholas Meyer, who made Star Trek 2. He was not a fan of Star Trek, but he talked to Gene Roddenberry. He got a little familiar with the show. And as soon as it clicked with him and he figured it out, he's like, all right, cool. But the thing is he was somebody who was good at reinventing classic characters. Unless you get somebody who has a strong voice or can go, okay, I get that, but I'm going to bring a different angle to it. You'll get that once in a great while, but they don't let those auteurs come in anymore because they're not the right color or the right sex. So that's the problem you have.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think, and I'd say you probably see this too. I think we're already seeing this on the screen, big screen and little screen.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think it's why I think that's multiple issues too. I mean, there's just zero creativity. I saw someone tweeted out. It was he tweeted out. It was like reboot, sequel, reboot, sequel, reboot, sequel, reboot, sequel, and it's like that is how Hollywood's brain thinks right now. That's all we get.
I've had to make a word for this. It's reboot cool.
Reboot,
and that's where you have a movie that is a reboot, but it's still a sequel. And you'll have those like Halloween a couple of years back is a perfect example of a reboot cool. It's a sequel to an original film, but it disregards other movies and starts over again. You know, like this is the new thing in Hollywood that you have not reboots, not remakes. It's reboot quills. It's like
you really do though. I mean, that's like everything that comes out now.
Pretty much. And I mean, the few times they didn't, like Ghostbusters, which would have been perfect for a reboot cool. You don't even have to necessarily disregard the second film, but it's just been long enough to where it's like, yeah, we got to get people reestablished with what this is all about. And there's no reason to disregard the past, because that's what I bring up all the time is people forget is specifically about movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We grew up in the video age. We didn't have that prior to that. You weren't lucky enough to, unless you caught a movie on a re-release, chances are you didn't get to see a big movie again, or there weren't a lot of big movies because they would just get lost over time. And unless it was a Gone with the Wind or Wizard of Oz, it just didn't live on until video, when everybody saw these movies all the time. Plus you had HBO at the same time and all these other things that came out to where you were seeing these movies so often that just became a part of the culture. Like everybody's seen, like we just said, everybody's seen Star Wars. Everybody's seen Back to the Future. Everybody's seen Goonies. Everybody's seen Gremlins.
Yeah.
You know these movies because they've been so much a part of our lives for so long. But you go back to like when in 76, when they remade Kong for the first time, it had been so long since the first film had come out. And I don't even know if it had been on TV at that point yet. So there was like an entire two, 3 generations that had never experienced that story before. So that movie, when it came out, was a much different experience for that generation. And that was originally my King Kong until I finally got to experience the original one on Turner Classic Movies years later, and I fell in love with it. And now I still think it's superior to the other one, but I still hold a special place for that 76 one because that was my introduction to that character. And you can have those, you have The Fly, you have The Thing, you have all these great remakes and things that have taken a story or an idea and gone in so many different places with it. Where are these people? You're right. Instead, we're getting these people who worry more about their emotional politics and Marxist BS and all this other kind of crap that they're bringing to the table and using something as a platform for their agenda than they are just about telling good stories. And then they use guys like us as scapegoats when their crap sucks. Yeah. And that's what's burning the fandom. It's not that we're a bunch of white men whining about losing any power or give a crap about, women. And I don't remember one guy saying anything about Rey before the movie came out. Not one person said anything about Finn. And in fact, more people were more excited about Finn. They're like, oh, he looks badass with that lightsaber. Pardon my language. But if you've seen Attack the Block, you knew what this kid was capable of. So you're like, oh, I'm on board with this. Nobody had any issues with that. And in fact, we were in love with it because you gave us Han Solo. We thought we were going to get Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. Yeah, bait and switch and the droids and all that. Like, that's what we were back for. We're like, yes, finally, what we've been waiting so long to see, and it's disheartening.
In fact, one of the things I would say that I hear the most from the people that are deemed toxic in Star Wars fandom about a John Boyega is kind of this disappointment that they had a pretty good setup for him in The Force Awakens, and it's at least in my opinion, it's The Last Jedi that just totally takes a dump on that character.
Oh, totally. Well, yeah, it does. And you're 110% right. It's because you had a character that was something we've never really seen on the big screen before. And I think they may have explored it a little bit in other places, but in the EU and whatnot. But no, like I'm pretty sure we've never seen it anywhere else other than on the screen until now with Finn, where you have somebody who was a stormtrooper and he's like, I ain't doing this no more. Yeah. And then he goes and not only does he just not do it no more, he goes and joins the rebellion. And then they start to hint at things that don't even come to fruition until the third film that JJ was trying to set up. And that is that he's also force sensitive. And so like Rey and him are not only like they kind of have a thing at first because he's like totally into her.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much you can do with that. And it's like, you're right. They just threw it all out the window. And a lot of it was for China and Ryan's ego and BS. And that's why I say The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker are just the world's most expensive Twitter fight between directors. Because it was
they really are.
It is, because
Man, they
Ryan
are.
Johnson going, oh, well, I can do it better than you. And then JJ going, you screwed up my movie. Now look what I'm going to do to yours.
Yeah, I mean,
They're like memes going back and forth.
can you imagine taking The Force Awakens where it left off and doing what we got with The Last Jedi?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you can't, because that was Andre's first reaction to the review of the movie when I remember when it came out, was that he's like, where are they going to go? There's nothing left. You left nothing for the door open, especially when you get to the point where you realize, and they don't do a good job of explaining it in the movie at the time, but when you go back and check it out, like that's supposed to be the very last of the rebellion, and it's supposed to be the very last of the First Order or whatever. And it's like, if this is all that's left of them, then why is this even a thing? Like, this is like a gang war in the middle of like a bunch of people who could just come out and get, okay, kids, knock it off. You know, because evidently there's this whole other thing that we're not seeing. It's like, where's the whatever they call it now, the Republic and all this stuff, and where's all the people that are? What the hell is this? And, yeah, I don't want to go on about it because we've all said our piece on this movie several times over in the last few years, but they're the ones who keep bringing it up.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, genuinely though, I've never heard anyone say anything about John Boyega or a black person being the male lead of the new sequel trilogy.
Lando Calrissian.
Yes, yeah.
Nobody ever said anything about him being black back in the day.
No,
not that I recall.
No.
Well, and because furthermore, it's like when it's not like I like forced. I like to see diversity. That's a good thing. Like I think that's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bottom line is we like to see good characters, and we can relate to good characters if it regardless of their race. If it's a well written character.
Just so as that's a black man that fits the part, then that's who gets the part.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it this way. You've got Harrison Ford, who's, he's a pretty good looking guy at the time. He's one of the topmost, right? Like,
yeah,
you got to get somebody who's gonna she's gonna that's gonna get Leia's attention. Who better than Mr. Colt 45 himself?
Yeah, I mean, he's just got
on the planet,
and two zigzags. That's all she needs.
And you're not thinking about the fact that he's black when he walks in the door. He's just like, "Hello, what have we here?" And then it's like, "Oh yeah, she is butter in his hands now." And Harrison Ford, Han Solo is like, "Wait a minute."
You just see smooth ladies man.
Exactly.
What he does.
And let's compare that to now what they've done with Snow White. All people are going to be thinking about is the fact that she is Latin.
Right.
Well, yeah, and or let's.
I mean, you can't. Well, even the people that are thrilled about Natalie, they're like, it's Aladdin Snow White. They're so happy about it. So either way.
Well, and they keep talking about remaking the original films all the time. People are afraid that's going to happen. Well, let's play devil's advocate. How would they introduce Lando now? He would come in the room and go, "Hello, I'm Lando Calrissian. I'm pansexual, but you are beautiful, Leia, and I am interested in you sexually." It's just like he would go through this whole thing. And by the way, I'm African American, and I do. He just goes through this whole thing, and it's like, what? Wait, what? Because I'm sure you've seen the new descriptions they have up for all these new characters for like the High Republic and stuff, and people did some mock ones, and we made fun of them too. It's like what do they would do for the classic characters? Luke Skywalker, possibly non-binary, Force using, learned from Obi-Wan Kenobi, sisters with. Leia is a sister, maybe incestual? Question mark. But that's what they would put now.
It is and that's all we're saying, Natalie, is when you make everything about race, sexuality, that they're the ones that's thinking about all the time, and they're forcing it on everyone else. Well, that's all we're trying to say.
This is where I'm trying to meet in the middle. I think it's fine if you do that sometimes. It's just that if it gets to the point, which I think it can feel like it's going to be all the time, that whether it's a like whichever way you change it, for whatever reason, it's like, that gets a little weird.
Yeah, well, and what we're saying is like, I bet Billy D. Williams came in and read that part, and George Lucas is like, that's it.
Yeah,
Like, that's what we're saying.
right.
Like,
no, I agree.
let it happen naturally, and then you're going to have the best movies, because there's always room for diversity within movies.
I just have, Michelle knows me. I can have a bleeding heart, and I try and see all sides, and then I think about a little Latin girl that loves Snow White, and she's like, "Oh, it's like me."
But here's our
you
but
know,
here's
you
our
know
thing,
what I'm saying, though?
Natalie. But here's our thing. Then make a good character that's Latin. Anytime Disney makes, why don't we have a Latin princess?
Yeah,
Why don't we have one? I mean, that's an easily make it. Be creative. I guess that's why we don't have it.
They have clearly not meant any Latin women at all.
He's calling you out.
why? would
They are
not-
all princesses.
I was just gonna say,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, how is that not the easiest one to make? Like, it's a isn't like, well, I guess closest would be Esmeralda, maybe. That's about the closest you can get at this point. And again, it's nobody's saying you can't. And Disney has done a great job of this point up till recently, coming up with a great cast of diverse ladies. Starting with, back to like Pocahontas and Mulan, leading all the way up to recently with the Frog Princess and Moana and other ones. Like, they've done a great job with original characters. Do that. Keep doing that.
That's all we're saying.
Encourage that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because even recently they did, I'm pretty sure the movie, I know this is Princess, but they did that. It was geared towards Latin group and specifically, I think, more Hispanic. Maybe even I think just Mexico. It was geared a little bit like that Coco movie. I'm pretty sure it did good in theaters.
But was that Pixar now? I can't remember. I think
that might have been Pixar. But my point
I can't remember.
is it was original.
Yeah,
and just make it like, why don't? That's why I said, why don't we have a Latin princess?
We
make
should.
one. Make one. Pick a country.
Like you said, they're princess. I mean, Latin women are beautiful.
Yeah,
for one thing.
Yeah, and that's all people are saying.
Can't detect any lies here, so I'm not going to argue.
And I want to read from Damaj and I. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, movies were diverse before it was cool.
Yeah.
See The Last Dragon. Yeah. Speaking of, I always laugh when HW totes more Asian actors like hello Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that movie, and I love. There's so many great films that were so diverse before this, and I mean, we were just watching Stand and Deliver the other day for our, or about a week or two ago now, for our reunion panel, and it's like throughout the entire movie, not race is brought up once until one part, and that one part is when it's called into question because these individuals are being accused of racism, and one of them happens to technically be the same. Or, well, the kid. It's like, why? Unless it was a movie about that. If I go to see a Spike Lee movie, I expect it, but I don't expect to see this huge thing about racism or anything like that, or classism, even necessarily in certain respects, unless it's well put into the story and hidden. We always talk about Star Trek and how they've done it. And, even Star Wars, the original one, there's a lot of influence at that time that was happening in the 70s. You had the Americans that were kind of seen as a big bunch of bullies right at that point. And you had a lot, another side of people that were seeing like the rebellious people were seen as heroes. Well, that's where, George probably got a lot of his inspiration from. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so in a way it's not woke, but it was progressive. See, that's the thing, is everything used to be progressive, or and now it's gone way past that. So yeah,
well, it has. And Natalie, I mean, too, I think our audience knows we're this way on when they don't write good female characters.
Yeah.
It could be a white female, but if it feels forced, I'm going to address it.
Well, that's very true.
I address it all the time because I feel like if you're going to give me a female character, give me a Ripley, give me a Leia. Don't give me
I am woman, hear me roar.
Literally said in the movie. Like, don't do that. Like, just show me. Ripley shows me that without ever having to tell me. She was boss lady. I mean,
to be clear, Even because Polly's in the chat here, he brings up Coco is Disney, and the making of that prior is an ugly history where Disney tried to copyright the holiday Dia de los Muertos. If I'm saying that correctly.
They had to copy, guys, because they have no new ideas.
And I got to be clear, even Stand and Deliver, it was more about the class thing than anything else at that point. But like anyway, no, it's really strange how we've had this swing, and I always point out to me it feels like it's the conquer and divide thing.
Yeah,
you know, for years and years it was the little guys against the big guys. You know, the man in quotations was always like corporate America, Washington D.C., the authority figures, and now all they've done is say, oh well, we're sick of being the bad guys. Well, then quit acting like bad guys and quit trying to make us the bad guy. And I mean that specifically as in white men, because that's all they did is took the man and put the white man in front of it.
Yeah.
All white men.
No, that's a pretty good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have. It's just it's a lot, guys. Natalie, do you want to read that one?
Sure. Okay. Awesome grandpa. Awesome Canuck grandpa. Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't know why I started off like that. Sorry, I meant The Force Awakens was a poor reboot, old and senile.
Fair point.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
And thank you very much.
Very fair point.
Thank you. And I'll let you read that one.
Awesome Canuck grandpa again. Thank you very much.
Why do you read it like you're Marilyn Monroe?
I don't. Oh my gosh, what? Okay, that actually is the first of the what? Lando Calrissian was black.
Natalie, read it like you're Marilyn. Just go full Marilyn.
I don't know what you speak of.
Like Mr. President.
What? Lando Calrissian was black.
That's not Marilyn. You have to work on your Marilyn.
Michelle, you don't know your Marilyn.
That was still pretty good.
And thank you, Derek, for the $5 super chat. Representation is being chosen over story. The High Republic is rife with it. That's yes, excellent point. Totally, and that's yes.
Yeah.
We want story.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Story first, and then get good representation. I mean, it happens. As we've been saying, it has happened. It happens naturally, oftentimes. And why do I feel like I'm missing one from Mr. Buttcrack?
Yeah, I see one there, but
I don't see it. And thank you to our buddy, the Latino Slant, for the $4.99 super chat. I can't read that. Great chat with Tom X. Can you say Tom? Can you read the first?
Hola, Mujiras. Did I say it right, Polly?
I don't want to butcher it, Polly. I'm really scared.
Yeah, and Mr. Buttcrack Media sent you a super sticker. It looks like I don't know what, but yeah. Hola, Mojiras, Moharas, one of those two. Which is it? Mojiras? Is that right, Polly? Phonetically.
Yeah, I'm not the best. I have friends that speak Spanish, and yeah,
he knows I can pronounce it good if I know how to actually say it. Like that's my
got
problem.
you. Okay. Yeah, because sometimes it's hard reading a different language because you don't know if you're
the pronunciation.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you, Mr. Buttcrack Media, for the $149 super sticker. I can't see
always
it
a pleasure
in the thing, but thank you so
Mr.
much.
Buttcrack.
Yeah. So, but
his icon is worth it alone.
It really is. I love it.
It's kind of epic, really.
Yeah, it really is epic.
I gotta know. I've never asked him this. Did you draw that yourself, or did you just happen to stumble across that somewhere? I'm just curious.
Mr. Buttcrack, did you draw it? You need to let us know in the chat.
It's epic. It's pretty epic.
This is the episode of Ask Mr. Buttcrack Anything.
Yeah.
Just whatever you guys want.
Okay, he says it's Mujeres. Mujeres. Is that how am I saying? Okay. Mujeres.
There we go. I still would watch it.
You'd say something else about that.
And
I'm trying not to.
And I would say this is a good point. Before female heroes could be heroes by being heroic, or before female heroes could be heroes by being heroic. Now female heroes are heroes because they're female. And that's a good point. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't, even as a female, of course I enjoy a Ripley or a really good female character. I really like, not that the second movie was that great, but I really love Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. But you want the character to be well written. You want it to be believable.
Yeah.
And not just to be about the fact that she's a woman.
Right.
That's what we're asking for.
And Polly says that means hey ladies.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
He's got to
Hey,
teach me how
Polly.
to say how you doing in
He
Spanish.
does. He
He
does.
I think he tried teaching me one time, but I forgot.
All I know is Polly loves my favorite mineral water. I saw him. He posted a picture with it the other day. Topo Chico.
Oh my gosh, Michelle is married to the Topo Chicos.
It's good, man. It's really good. If you like mineral water.
She does.
I deserve money for Topo Chico. I give them a lot of.
I mean, you're basically an investor at this point.
I know. I give them a lot of advertisement, but anyways, Tom, I don't want to keep you. We've already gone 14 minutes over.
He did not
No
draw it.
worries.
So just so we know, he did not draw it. I like to think of it as, is it like a plumber at work?
Yes, that's what it looks like.
Okay. Doing his thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
me
like
too.
it a lot. I like it a lot.
But he's awesome because he's got the toned arms, but he's definitely paid attention to that badonkadonk at the same time. So he's definitely made sure he's had some sandwiches and beer.
And thank you, Valiant Renegade, for the $5 super chat. Walked in on Tom in the middle of a double date, it seems. Hello, ladies. Good to see you. Tom.
Well, they're
what
trying
is-
to end it already. I'm the one with all the stamina here. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I just, when I tell someone I'm the one who feels bad. I'm always fine to keep going. I just don't like.
You forget, I do this for breakfast.
You really do,
Yeah,
man.
I guess you do.
You go forever.
You know what?
Well,
Tom is what sleep does when it rests. You do realize this, right?
Oh, what did you say? Tom is what?
Tom is what sleep does when it rests.
I'm having a.
I don't sleep, but sleep is what it does when it rests.
I like it. I like it. I had to think
It's
about
like
that
one of
for a
those
second.
Chuck Norris, kind of things.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
One time when I was young, somebody started telling Chuck Norris jokes, and I don't know
love
why,
those.
but I ended up on the floor that night.
They
just
are
listening.
hilarious.
It's just something. They're so stupid. They're great. Like,
Well, the newer one was
somebody
really
just like
great.
ripping them off.
Did you hear the one about he got the new the thing going around? I don't want to say it out loud, but
I know what you're talking about.
Chuck Norris got the thing going around, and it'll be in quarantine for 12 days, and it can finally get out. Chuck Norris is fine.
It's just the fact he can do anything. Gosh, I wish I had some pulled up. Just he can do anything, conquer any. Death is afraid of Chuck Norris.
I definitely used to watch Walker Texas Ranger
just-
as a kid.
It's been a long time.
It was a good show.
Yes,
You gotta love good old Chuck Norris.
Chuck was awesome. He is awesome. I'm talking about him like he's not even here anymore, but he's like omnipotent.
We really should get Chuck in something. Why has no one put Chuck in something?
He was in what? The Expendables 3 was like his last thing he did.
Okay. That makes sense. That's exactly a movie I'd think for him to be in. I haven't seen that movie, but okay.
Yeah,
That
I
makes-
think he was only in that for like 10 minutes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we need more Chuck in the world. He says F and Chuck Norris.
The world's got it fever.
Right.
And the only prescription is a little more Chuck.
Well,
That's
he's the
right.
only guy who gave Bruce Lee a run for his money. So, I mean, come on.
Exactly. I guess unless you believe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then-
There's a lot of debate about that. And I mean, I know some people took a little offense to how that was presented, but I've heard stories like that about him. And a part of me wants to think that he wouldn't think it was a bad thing. He would find that funny. Because from what I know about Bruce, his problem was more so the stereotypes and people making fun of the Chinese culture. In that respect, in that movie, I don't see any of that. I just see a very egotistical guy, which Bruce was, being put in his place by somebody who is probably a little bit older and more experienced. I mean, that's all it was. And I don't think it had anything to do with race or anything like that. People were trying to make it that.
Right.
You could look at it that way, but I've heard a similar story to that. So I heard there was a story one time where Bruce did get a little too overzealous, talk some shit. Sorry about my language.
You're fine.
To a pretty tough, been around the block stunt guy, and this stunt guy knocked him on his butt. Now, it was nearly not as dramatic as what Tarantino did, but that's the story I heard. It was just basically he knocked him on his butt, and that was about it. Like, it was just kind of a, they just went into like a little, like a fisticuff thing. It wasn't even like a real fight, but like, Yeah, that's what I heard. So I mean, I've heard stories like that. So I think there's a ring of truth to it. But they do a great job, I think, on the other end in that movie, showing Bruce, like, you know, his other things that he did. He was always there teaching a lot of people martial arts and stuff, and I think they showed that part of him pretty well. So I don't know. I thought it's my favorite movie of that year when it came out in 2019. So
It was a good movie.
I liked it. Yeah, I had her watch it with me. I'd already seen it once.
and
Yeah,
it's
it was
not
good.
meant to be historically accurate anyway.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It could almost even be seen as like an honor. He used him because he is so. I mean, he's Bruce Lee.
Well,
Like
he's
a part
clearly
of
a
that
fan.
time.
Look at Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Exactly. And again, that goes back to what it just goes back to the world we sadly live in, where everything is made about race.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of just how I feel like that whole story just went, as far as that.
yeah, and that's another great example right there. I mean, when Kill Bill came out, not once did it cross my mind that, oh, this has got Uma Thurman kicking butt in it. It was just that it was a Tarantino movie, and the only thought of Uma Thurman being just because she was in it. Had nothing to do with the woman being a lead, kicking butt. None of that crap crossed my mind once. I just felt like I was watching a kick-ass, you know, like kung fu movie / spaghetti western, because that's really what it was. So
Yeah, no, it was exactly. I mean, yeah, I mean, you see it all throughout. I mean, Hollywood is that they have like that. She was a well-written character.
and yeah, there's plenty before that, and hopefully we'll get back to that again someday. And yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully. Well, I would like to get your final thoughts on something before we go, if you have some time. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Share. Not this. We've already looked at this. Let's look at this. I want to get your thoughts on Supergirl. We've already covered Supergirl. I just want to know your thoughts on the outfit.
Honestly, the design, I don't hate the design. The red boots need to be there.
Yes.
As far as the character, I know already that they're probably doing the alternate universe Supergirl that is actually Clark and Lois's daughter. So that part I also don't have an issue with. I feel like they are Rose Ticoing her a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Not
Just
a
with,
lot.
like, the hair and stuff. Yeah.
Could be worse. I don't know what the deal is with this outfit. It could be something that we're seeing it from a bad angle and it'll look like whatever from another angle, but I hope it's not like some kind of armor, because if that's the case, then that makes her look weaker than Superman, because that's what it looks like from every angle I've seen. It's like she's got some kind of like breast / stomach armor.
Well, and what you said, I totally agree with that. I saw yesterday a picture, and Natalie, she has like red boots that come up to here, and it looked way better because it breaks up all that blue.
Right.
Exactly. And they don't look like, because they look like booties now.
They do. They look like booties, and the red boots just give it.
I thought that's what it was. Like, it just was all one piece. Like,
it's almost like.
No, go ahead.
It's kind of like she's in like little ballerina shoes.
Yeah.
Well, and then you add in that they got to make everything look like a friggin' sneaker now. So,
yeah.
Like that mesh thing look, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's
very Spider-Man too. A lot of people are saying, and I get it. I know she'll have a cape. I know she'll have a cape, but here you go. Here's like a direct on angle, and that still does not look like a 6-pack to me.
No, I think we're all kind of curious exactly what it is.
They look like little chicken nuggets that were placed.
Someone said it looks like the aliens popping out from Alien.
Wow. Yeah, the girls were saying that the other night on Toxic Fed too.
That's where I heard it. Yeah.
That's where I missed my cue. I was supposed to play. I'm supposed to play a clip, but it didn't matter because I clipped the wrong clip anyway. So yeah, they wanted me to play the "Hello, my baby, hello, my honey" part of that clip from Spaceballs, but I ended up doing the "Oh no, not again" part, and I got crap, I got the wrong part. So that was my snafu.
We all have them. Even Tom has them from time to time.
Poor girls, they set up this really great joke, and I had to screw it up.
Pointy, bony abs is totally going to be the hot new look. Exactly. That's what everyone wants.
It's what's in for summer.
Yeah. But But yeah, so
For hot girl summer.
we'll see. But I agree with you. I totally agree with you that I just think even that small change of those red boots just would make that look a lot better because it just breaks up all that blue because it's a lot of blue. It's a lot of blue.
And if you've seen any pictures of her where she's not in this outfit and with the longer hair and whatnot, I mean, she's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman.
Yes.
And again, I just hope they're not Rose Ticoing her. I hope we're not seeing a good representation. I know there's a few people who have been somewhat, trying to be optimistic about it. And I don't blame them for that. I mean, some people are looking forward to this movie quite a bit. I have been, especially with Michael Keaton being involved, but we see things like this. I'm not a big fan of Ezra Miller's from the start. There's things going into this that it's going to be a very interesting ride. And this is supposed to be like the big event for DC going forward here coming up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a DC fan, but DC's just kind of a hodgepodge mess at this point. Like,
ain't kidding.
There's no real plan. It's just, it is what it is. I don't know. I am a big DC fan. Because I grew up in I was a kid in the 90s. So is Batman. That's what I had. So I'm just a DC fan, but they've just been, it's a hit or miss. You get a few good ones, like the first Wonder Woman, Shazam. I actually do like Man of Steel. But then it's just, you get what I'm saying. It's just, they have no
It's all
plan.
over the place.
Exactly. All over the place. Totally. And I want to say thank you for the $4.99 super chat.
Yes.
You ladies are super girls. Love your channel.
Thank you very much. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, we appreciate that very much too. Kick or not. Yes. And hello to Amanda. But yeah, it's so we'll see. We'll see. And I do want to say I actually really do enjoy CW Superman and Lois. Have you watched that, Tom?
No, I haven't, but I've heard so many things about it that I hope by the time I get to see it that I don't hate it. But
yeah, I mean, I think everyone was just so pleasantly surprised because we have very low expectations from the CW.
Well, there's that, and then I actually had the script for felt like almost a year, but maybe it was like 6 months before the show even came out for the first episode. And I read like the first 4 pages and I quit. I'm like, nope, I'm out. So I don't know if they did a rewrite. They may have. I've not seen the first episode and I don't even remember the script. Script doctor actually would be somebody to ask how different it was because he's been reviewing it with Nina Infinity, and I'm pretty sure he read the original script, so he would be able to tell you the differences if there is any more so. But no, it sounds like they're doing a good job so far, and if they can keep it up, that's a plus. I know that so far the most famous thing that sticks out to me about the show, since I haven't actually watched it yet, was that there was that one writer who happened to be black, and she was like crying racism and stuff on internet, and everybody's just like, yeah, no, you're just not that great of a writer.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because she's out there, I am a great writer, so it can't be because of my writing. It has to be because of the color of my skin or my sex. And it's like, no, lady, and maybe you're just not that good. You know,
that is a possibility.
Take up a different activity, and maybe you'll find a new talent that's not writing, evidently. So.
Yeah,
and that's a great example of what we were talking about before. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, you've got to know your talents.
Yeah, and that's clearly a case where this lady got hired because of who she was as far as like her race and her sex. And when she got fired, she thought that was the reason. And I don't blame her in one side of it, because that's why you were hired in the first place. So why wouldn't you think that's the reason you were fired?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. They've created this mess. They've created this empire. It's kind of a straw ground, and it easily crumbles. So it is what it is. But Tom, I just want to thank you again so much for coming on our channel. Again, I'm a big fan of Midnight's Edge. You guys do awesome job. And if for some reason you guys are not subscribed to Midnight's Edge, they do live streams pretty much like every weekday, right?
Well, we have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the main channel at 11 Central, 9 Pacific. We do the morning show. And then counter to that on Tuesday and Thursday, you can catch Paulie and the guys, and sometimes Andre and I get to hop in over on Midnight's Edge Espanol at the exact same time, but over on the Espanol channel. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do Midnight's Edge After Dark at 6 o'clock Central, and that would be Pacific, like 4. Yeah, 4 Pacific. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, just subscribe to the channels. If not, subscribe to my Twitter and whatnot, because you know how YouTube is with sending out alerts. So I don't even think I got an alert for this, to be honest with you. I had to go find it to share it. So
well, do you know, I found, like, when I do this, that's why at the beginning I was like, oh crap, I did like tweet we're going live now, because if I don't, I find people don't really see it. It's been weird. But hoping it gets better. But yeah, I just, again, thank you so much. And everyone, their channel's awesome. I love, again, how you guys build a case, and it's just fantastic videos. Those videos are.
Well, you know, you just apply good old logic to some things and do a little bit of research, you can be surprised. So
it's amazing what research does, isn't it?
We try. Sometimes we don't always get everything 100% accurate, but hey, it's the internet. You can't, do everything right.
Yeah, don't believe everything on the internet, guys. But yeah, thank you so much, and go subscribe to their channel. And I know Marcos has had their channel. Yeah, I see it right there. He's had it rolling throughout this stream. But everyone, that is it for this week's weekly roundup. We appreciate everyone in the chat, everyone watching later. Hope you guys have had a fun time. We hope you've been entertained and enjoyed joining the chat with us. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right.